Hi, this is Dr. Stack again. I just wanted to follow up on that thread about what happened, the judge that presided over the Kennedy Arnold case, and shocking, it's really shocking, and not too unexpected, as you can see. I have a very good nose for this sort of thing. I don't know why I didn't do law. Everyone was saying, why didn't you do law? We didn't have it in the family, and it's all, a closed shop. In those days, perhaps it's still the case. So the Kennedy Bruce phone tapping case, who was the judge? What were the costs? Where is he now? So this is the facts. The best law lectures in the country are given by a mathematician. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. In the 1980s, Ireland was rocked by a phone tapping scandal. I don't know how I can keep my sense of humour given what was done to me over, we'll say, 30, 40 years. I don't know how I can keep, a laugh, or how I can laugh at all this darkness, the incredible darkness. I'm sure it's just, what they call it, the dark tetrad, or whatever they're calling it now. They're introducing sadism into it now, and misogyny and all these other things. I'll have to ask Jordan Peterson about it. He's the expert. In the 1980s, his friend in the University of British Columbia is a real smart cookie too. In the 1980s, Ireland was rocked by a phone tapping scandal. The private lines of journalists John Kennedy and Bruce Arnold were illegally tapped under ministerial warrants. They took the state to court and won, but who presided over the case, and did we ever learn what legal costs were paid? This video explores what the public record reveals and what remains hidden. So the background: in late 1982, it was revealed that the phones of Bruce Arnold and Gerald Kennedy, then a journalist, had been tapped under warrants signed by then Justice Minister Sean Doherty. In 1983, the new Minister for Justice publicly admitted that the prior government had authorised taps and went beyond any legitimate security justification. Kennedy and Arnold sued the state for breach of their constitutional rights. The case was heard in the High Court, and in January 1987, a judgment was delivered awarding damages, 20,000, as I've said earlier, each to Kennedy and Arnold, and £10,000 at the time to Mavis Arnold, Bruce's wife, as well. In his judgment, the judge, Mr. Justice Hamilton, condemned the state action as an attack on the plaintiff's dignity and freedom as individuals, actions which cannot be tolerated in a democratic society. Sounds good? The judge was Liam Hamilton, often styled Mr. Justice Hamilton. At that time, he was a High Court judge. He later rose further. Hamilton later became the President of the High Court, 1985 to 1994, and then Chief Justice of Ireland, 1994 to 2000. He passed away on the 29th of November 2000, so he's no longer where now. Unfortunately, he's deceased. I was wondering where he was now. Sadly, R.I.P. Rest in peace. The public record does not show that he was involved later in that case or any appeals beyond the High Court judgment, at least not as far as my understanding is. There wasn't any appeals to that, just looking at what I can find here. But I mean, I'm not as my friend, my best friend, Dr. Richard Price says, this is just, I'm not the last, I don't know the full story, obviously. I'm just looking at what I can find. So, the legal fees that were paid to either side's legal teams are not known in that High Court litigation. There's no, I haven't been able to find those, what were the legal fees. Usually legal fees are vastly in excess of the, what goes to the poor complainants. The judgment awards were damages, but awards for damage are separate from legal costs. We all know that, but what's not in the public domain appears to be the legal costs, which often can be, as somebody said, really millionaires' legal fees, one judge said, compared to what the plaintiff gets or whatever. Public reports focus on the damages awarded, not a detailed breakdown of legal costs. But interestingly, see how that fellow went up and up and up, and his award of 10,000 or 20,000 was very highly questionable. Was he rewarded by doing this? To kind of back the government by giving minimal fees for horrendous behaviour by the courts, even though he's supposed to be completely, by the government, even though he's supposed to be completely independent, and he's supposed to represent the people, not the government that pays him. Some press accounts at the time mentioned that the state attempted to defend the case but eventually conceded parts of the facts and did not attempt appeal on liberty. I don't understand liability or quantum. I don't understand what quantum means. Without archival access to the court file or solicitor records, it's difficult to confirm legal fee amount, but you can take it from me, the legal fees were vastly in excess of this appalling appalling damages. We can conclude the judge was Liam Hamilton, respected jurist who later became Chief Justice. We know the damages awards Kennedy and Arnold £20,000 each, £20,000 at the time. Mavis Arnold was awarded £10,000. And the judge's strong condemnation of phone tapping as a breach of dignity and democracy. Now, there's no issue with that, but what the issue is, the appropriate compensation seems to me to be grossly inadequate for the actual, the damages. So was he afraid to go against the government? And then, because he knew that it could affect his promotion, he was promoted. I don't know. This is what often happens. People are afraid to go against people who could curtail their career if they didn't kind of go the right way. But the detailed legal costs paid to the lawyers are not present in any accessible public record at the moment. And since Hamilton died in 2000, he can't be tracked further. So there's no longer in judicial evidence. In closing, the Geraldine Kennedy Bruce Arnold case remains a landmark in Irish constitutional and media law, a rare judicial repudiation of state surveillance overreach, while the judge and the awards are well documented. The hidden costs of litigation, the full of financial records remain elusive in public sources. So that's the story. It's not surprising, because I would say the legal costs ghastly. The millionaires' fees ghastly exceeded the minuscule awards to the journalists concerned. Appalling, carry on. And then to see the judge end up, and I'm not saying he wasn't competent, but was he under undue influence not to be too critical of the government to this tacit minimal amount of damages for appalling conduct of the government to very highly respected and truthful journalists.